brake rotor temperatures, people, if you haven't been with me for a while, we actually, I pick brake compounds based off of what the maximum rotor temperature is, and we actually have, I should have brought some out, we actually have rotor temperature paint that you paint on your rotor, and it'll change colors as the temperature increases. And the big answer is we've got a whole ton of compounds. We've got, and the reason we've switched over to the G-Loc for our track day guys is a couple of things. They're more cost effective than some of the other brands. Also, they seem to be pretty darn good on rotors. They treat rotors pretty well. And the third thing is on the track pads, we can get them pre-bedded. So you don't have to waste an entire session bedding your brake pads, Saturday morning. And you can get straight to getting your tire temperatures and your pressure set. But to give you an idea, we've got a really nice performance street pad that has a really good initial bite and torque. And it's easy on rotors, low dust, and it's good from ambient all the way up to 800 degrees, which is typically most street cars will never get over 800 degrees. They're more than likely to be in the, I've never checked this, but I'm just guessing 400 to 500 range. And then we've got a specific pad for autocross that's really kind of cool. Its temperature range goes from 0 to 1,000 degrees. It's got excellent initial bite and high coefficient of friction at lower temperatures, along with progressive modulation. That's specifically what we call our autocross pad, because it's got bite right now, and if you get the brakes really hot, I mean you're covered up to 1,000 degrees. But you start getting into like the autocross pads, you could drive them on the street to the track, but if you drove them very much on the street, then you're going to get some dust and maybe some noise. Like I say, it's great for autocross. Then we start getting into our track day tires, track day pads, and we've got the combination that most of our guys are using are the 12s and the 10s. The 10s on the rear, and they're good from 118 degrees up to 1475, and the 12s on the front are from 173 up to 1860, and that will cover most track day people, even ones that don't have brake ducts. Of course, with that brake ducts, they're going to wear a lot faster, but at least they're not going to fade and go away. And if you think those are high temperatures on my car with brake ducts, my Mustangs, I'm typically seeing around 1,200 degrees rotor temperature. And somebody asked if you can use an infrared infrared temperature gauge to check the rotor temperature, and no. All that's going to tell you is what the rotor temperature is sitting still. What we want to know is what's the maximum temperature that rotor sees under hard braking. I'm sure you've seen, like in some of the Daytona 24 hours or Le Mans, the night races, you see the front brakes glowing red in the dark. Well, that's the temperature we want to know. What is the maximum temperature that are going? And then for the really serious competition people, we've got some race pads that the rears would be the 16s that would go from 255 to 2,000 degrees, and the fronts from 610 up to 2,100 degrees. And that's for serious competition where you're running brake rotor temperatures in the 1,1600 degree range. We had one customer, I was talking to, getting some brake pads for him, and he said he had a set of the G-Locs, and they didn't work for him at all. He hated them. Well, I asked what compound he had, and he had a GT350 or GT500, and it was a track day car. And somebody sold him a set of the 18s, the race compounds, which go from 610 to 2100. Well, the range of 610 to 2100, to be in the really operating range of those, where they really want to live, you're going to have 1,400 degree rotor temperature. I guarantee you GT500 is not going to see that much rotor temperature. If you have too aggressive of a brake pad, and like for this guy, what was happening is he was not getting the brake pads up to their optimum operating temperature. which meant he's running them cold, which means they're not going to work very well. They're going to be noisy. They're going to make dust, and they're not going to stop all that great. Here's something that you can use to sell if your brake pads are too hard. If I don't know if you've seen like some people in videos and stuff, their brake pads will kind of, going around the corner, will kind of squeal a little bit, or they'll make some noise. If they're making noise, the compound's too hard. You need to drop that compound down a heat range because you're not in the optimum operating range of that brake pad. And of course, don't forget, you always have to have high temperature brake fluid. We've got, about a year or so ago, we switched over to the Bear brake fluid. It's more cost effective than some of the others, and actually has one of the highest dry boiling points, which is good.